think there are many whites who act friendly toward Negroes. A fox acts friendly toward the lamb. And usually the fox is the one who ends up with the lamb chop on his plate. The wolf doesn't act friendly, and therefore the wolf has more difficulty in getting the lamb chop in his plate.
I'd like to point out, though, that
I say that because it is usually if you study the structure of the Negro community, economically, politically, civically, psychologically, and otherwise, it's controlled by the white liberal, who usually poses as the friend of the Negro, who actually differs from the white conservative in the same way that the fox differs from the wolf. Their appetite is the same. Their motives are the same. It's only their mannerisms and methods that differ.
Yesterday was an interesting day for me because I dropped a video titled, "This is Why Democrats Can't Be Trusted." And in it, I discussed how we voted for the Democratic Party at around a 90% clip for decades. And you would think at this point, we would at least have a hate crime bill. It was surrounding the Chud the Builder situation. And the feedback I got was very revealing. Because if you look up and down my timeline, I've got countless videos discussing Donald Trump and the racist Republicans. But the moment I dared even question the Democratic Party, I received comments like this. And I even lost a bunch of subscribers. And what that feedback told me was, now I see how the DNC is able to get the black vote without actually having to do anything for the people. And that led me down a rabbit hole of identity politics. And I discovered a whole bunch of other foundational black Americans who's starting to wake up to the game.
Yes, sir. Black Americans. We're not African American. We're not people of color. We're not black and brown, minority.
That's right.
BIPOC. None of that. People, no, none of that. This is about our people demanding the resources, just as you're giving these people, these newcomers who are walking into this country.
That's right. You are right.
And sister's correct. How do you take a new group of people that have paid no taxes, can't vote, and you put them in front of the voters?
I'm not going to pay them no damn taxes.
And so we say this to you, Mayor, Governor, President. If you think that they're that powerful that you have the acquiesce and answer to them over us, then you tell them to vote for you in these next elections.
That's right.
You tell them to support your Democratic National Convention. We're going to show you how we feel about the Democratic National Convention.
Turn it out. Thank you.
If you think you're going to have a peaceful Democratic National Convention in the city of Chicago while our people are starving,
that's right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Come on now. Black Americans, we built this country. Not only have we built this country, we've supported the Democrats for the last, 70 years? And we haven't gotten anything for it. So what Unc is saying is, you pretty much want me to sit back and watch my own demise. Because you guys are putting everybody in front of us and letting them skip the line. Got the immigrants flooding our neighborhoods, gatekeeping the jobs, moving us out of the neighborhoods because it's only so much space. So what do you want us to do? Have a minority coalition with other people who don't want to be our friends? Who actually don't want a coalition with us? That doesn't make any sense.
I have a question for all the foundational black Americans who still have faith in the Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party has made it clear that protecting American citizens is not their number one priority, where do you think we fall on their priority list? I want you to really think about it for 1 second. I know you've been thinking whatever the white man tells you to think for years upon years, but right now I want you to think your own thoughts for 1 second. Where do you think we fall on their priority list? What has the Democratic Party done for us? They keep telling us to go out there and fight against ICE, protect illegal immigrants. What are they doing for us? Why do our communities keep getting worse? Daquan Johnson, just lost his life the other day to law enforcement, the police department, but they want us fighting against ICE. What are they doing for us? I'm not saying go vote Republican. I'm not telling you to do that. I'm asking you to reevaluate who you're supporting. Think about it, because it seems like the Democratic Party will support anybody besides black people.
Man, that brother brought up a good point. As soon as you question the Democratic Party, here comes all the shills. Here comes everybody out of the woodworks. So are you saying you're voting Republican? I never said that. What I'm saying is I want to hold the party that we've been voting for forever accountable. And as a black American, I guess we're not allowed to do that.
That's what I'm gathering.
There's always been some Negro agent or agents.
Yeah.
You know, even Malcolm X talked about that, right? The other thing of it is people love, especially black people who say they're so pro-black, love to talk about how militant Malcolm X is, but Malcolm X also warned you about the white liberal and his agenda.
Yep.
And if the white liberal pulls the knife is 6 inches deep in your back and he pulls it out 3, that's not progress, right? He's not even addressing the wound. And so with that, it's easy to, again, mobilize people on fear. And if you really wanted somebody to vote for you in a real way, not just in a surface substantial way, you would say, okay, I know for a fact that the average black voter does not understand people's platforms.
Yeah.
Well, Joe Biden did. Stop it. You know I was right. It's okay. Take the L, hold that for me.
Yeah.
If you cared, you would say these are the tenets of this plan that this person who is running for office has for you. This is what these particular senators have. Here's their platform. You would create YouTube channels that broke it down with infographics if you really wanted to get that message out.
Yeah.
We don't do that. You know what we do though? We get D.L. Hughley to talk about how bad Orange Man is.
Yeah.
You know, we get Amanda Seals to say, oh, you got to vote this way and that.
That's what we get. Being a foundational black American, that's what we get. We get political theater. We get, what's the dude's name from Memphis yesterday? Stomping around like he's at a revival. We get all these black celebrities who live behind gated communities telling us to vote for Democrats. But when you go to the places that they never go to, those places that are Democrat run are shitholes. That's what we get. And now we're asking for policy. We're asking for set-asides. We're asking for tangibles. And everybody's up in arms now. Ain't no going back. The toothpaste is out of the bottle.
Listen, you Democrats, do you really think that the black community in black America, especially people like myself that live in the ghetto, really want to be replaced by illegal immigrants that you fight for? I actually saw black folks fighting so that they can be replaced by illegal immigrants. It was astonishing. They're actually fighting. Now they got this faux Black Panther Party out there. By the way, Democrats have historically hated the Black Panther Party in so much that they killed them. We have this going on right now, and they expect that some black fool, a fool, will actually want to side with illegal immigrants in America? That's the dumbest thing I could. You can't conceive dumber. Literally, tell me what is actually dumber than that. You can't conceive it. I don't get it. But the Democrats think that they can sell the black community this lie. They think that the Jasmine Crockett's, the Raphael Warnocks, the Stacey Abrams, these individuals can actually sell the black community on letting illegals live in their neighborhoods, take their resources, buy their houses, fill their hospitals. They actually think that that's what's good for us. They think that. Their brain seems to think that we are dumb enough, stupid enough, vacant enough to actually help them in that fight. Imagine that.
And see, if you're black and you're watching this, if you're black American and you're watching this, don't feel ashamed. I fell for the banana in the tailpipe. I won't anymore. After I had a daughter, I started looking outward at what our future is going to look like as being black Americans in this country. And I said, oh, no, 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 no. They're trying to erase us and trying to move us out the way. And so what they'll do is put a black politician like Jasmine Crockett, who walks and talks like us, Justin Pearson, right, who walks and talks like us, to pull on our heartstrings and say they've got our best interest in mind. They should, right? They're black Americans. And then you go down to Justin Pearson's district where he has control over, and there's absolutely nothing going on down there. It's destitute in Memphis. Have you been in Memphis? I don't blame you if you don't want to go, because the homicide rates is terrible. Black on black crime is terrible. My young nieces and nephews, they can't read and write. Where is the programs at? Get off that stage shucking and jiving and go down to that community and start building some stuff. Quit telling me about Donald Trump and tell me about the next community program that you have so we can help these children read and raise their literacy rates. The only thing they always tell us is Republican bad, Republican bad. No, that's not what I asked you. I asked you, what policies do you plan to implement to help our young black American children learn to read, write, and do math? No, don't worry about that. I said, Republicans bad, Republicans bad. The jig is up, man.
This black American lady say that immigrant first policies is more detrimental to the black American community than Jim Crow South.
All I can say to you is that you are a disgrace. I'm an 80-year-old woman, and I've never seen anything like this. I grew up in the Jim Crow South, and the policies that you're passing in this city remind me of the Jim Crow South. I had to drink out of a colored water fountain, or the whites would drink out of a white water fountain. But you know what I didn't have to worry about? Going back to my community, and it would be destroyed. And everybody else is in my community but black people. And this is what you've done with this immigration. You have allowed all these people, you brought all these people into this city. You are destroying this city. And the black community is flooded with all of these immigrants. Violent ones, prostitution, gangs. You did that. You are doing this to your people. You are an absolute disgrace to me. Like I said, I drank out of that colored water fountain, but I could go back to that black community that was intact. Women are crying. Taxes are going up. What am I going to do with my children? Where are we going to go and live? This is because of you, Brandon Johnson. You're destroying the south side of Chicago with your policies.
She stated that the Jim Crow era was pretty bad. At least she had a community to retreat to. The black American community to retreat to. Now you have these immigrants going into the black American communities practicing Jim Crow. They're practicing segregation, right? They get into these jobs. They're going to continue to hire people that look like them, that speak their language. They're not hiring outsiders. Isn't that weird to say you're American, but you're an outsider in your own black community? So this is what they're setting up, Jim Crow type laws in the black American community, pushing black Americans out of their own community. In Chicago, where resources is already limited, space is already limited, but now you have these immigrant first policies putting immigrants over black Americans. This is not about coexisting. This is about literally pushing black Americans out of their communities and pushing them out of the job market. Because how can you stay in a community if you don't have access to money, if you don't have access to jobs? I'm not.
And see, that's one of the conversations a lot of people want to avoid. A lot of these people coming over here, these immigrants, are hostile towards black Americans. They're hostile. Another layer to it. I've seen situations where, I think in California, where they've got signs up saying if you're not bilingual, you can't work here. How does that work in America, in my country? How in my country do you have to be bilingual to work at a certain job? We've let them come over here and take over the place. And we've got to reel this thing back in. And it's going to start with the foundational Black Americans. We're going to have to stand up, which we are. It's a renaissance right now, and tell the Democrats we're not having it. If you're not going to give us specific policies for foundational Black Americans, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nobody pounding the table for illegal immigrants. I don't care about nobody else's agenda because nobody else cares about ours. And so that's what time it is right now. And then another thing is, in that Democratic Party, I can't tell who's an immigrant and who's not. You get what I'm saying? Of course, they don't care. They don't care about the Black American not getting nothing, because not only are they immigrants, their parents are immigrants, their children are immigrants, their nieces and nephews, but they're running rampant inside the Democratic Party. And they have no interest towards our lineage.
Chicagoan, but Brandon Johnson got to go. Let's go, Brandon.
It's not just about lineage-based reparations. We have other problems. You're asking us for our vote. We need an anti-Black crime bill. We have just witnessed in Jacksonville a white supremacist shoot down 3 people for the sake, just simply because they were Black. Subsequent to that, there was another thwarted attempt at a church, right, that was thankfully thwarted, where they wanted to kill Black people in a church. This is literally our life and our world. Within the past 30 days, then up in the Cape, at Massachusetts, we got young white supremacists sitting up there trying to drown a teenage Black boy in a pond and yelling George Floyd. So we have a real problem. The DNC needs to give us an anti-Black criminal bill. It's extremely serious. Let's reel it back. Let's take it back to Buffalo. Everybody is being shot in Buffalo. No, hold on. It's illegal, but only talk to Black people about voting. And that's what you're doing up in here today. Pandering for votes to all of these students up in here. You're sitting on your hands, literally, and then you're going to be disrespectful and walk off the stage. But you want our vote. Sir, we've been voting for 60 fucking years, and we haven't gotten a damn thing. So from you, or Joe Biden, or Kamala Harris, we haven't gotten anything. Sir, what? No, because I'm mad as hell, sir. 60 years we've been voting. What have we done other than being at the bottom class? And this clown here gonna sit up here and give us this Baptist preacher antic show, and we buy it. But I hope you're not buying into that bullshit. I really hope you're not buying into it. But that is fucking disgusting and disrespectful. To come up here and charge you guys for coming in here to see this shit show.
It's a fact. That's what I call the Black people in the Democratic Party. I call them vote gatherers. They don't actually have any power. That's why wherever they're overseeing, nothing ever gets done, because the white people at the top, see, here's where people are confused. People keep telling me about how racist the Republican Party is, as if those same white racist people don't exist in the Democratic Party. The only difference between the two is the white Democratic Party is going to send out the black face who actually has no power to shuck and jive in front of us to try to get our votes. So these black people that you see out here in the Democratic Party, they're really nothing but vote gatherers. They don't actually have any power. They're never going to get anything passed to help the Black American. They're going to go out there, be very performative, jump around on stage. And then when it's time to say, are you going to build a new community center in the neighborhood, help the kids read and write? Oh, no. You got to wait for that. But have you heard how racist the Republican Party is? It's like, don't nobody want to hear that, man. We need to get some stuff done. But the problem is they don't actually have any power to get anything done. Remember this. They are nothing but vote gatherers.
You know, today's Democrat Party has got to be some of the most bloodthirsty, race-baiting, manipulating individuals on the face of the earth. I mean, demonic. Black folks, do you know why they want you guys to join into this fight about illegal immigrants? Even though it's against your better interests, but we all know that you fight for Democrats against your better interests on a daily anyway. But think about this, because this is truly not our fight, right? I mean, no matter how much, fear mongering and gaslighting liberals do, this is not your fight. I'm going to tell you, they want you to join this fight because they're hoping that one of you are killed while you're protesting. They're hoping that one of you are hurt during this obstruction of federal law, because they know that if that happens, you will have another George Floyd. You would have another Michael Brown. You would have another Tamir Rice. You will have a kind of situation to where they will use your hurt, your trauma, your pain to burn this country to the ground. This is why those black gatekeepers in the Democrat Party keep trying to push the masses of blacks to join in this fight. Even though it is obvious that illegal immigrants are flooding in your communities, they're taking your resources, they're killing your children. So why would this be your fight? You look at Minneapolis, the Somalian community constantly tells you that they're not black. But now, because they need your help, they need your blood, they need your fight, now they're black. While they robbed this country blind for years, and you couldn't even get childcare. They're running businesses in your community, and you can't get a piece of the pie. This is not your fight. They want you to get hurt. That's why I have a problem with the Democrat Party.
Talk that talk. How they getting millions of dollars for the Leering Center, but down in the Black American neighborhoods, they're building nothing. Think about this. But in the Somalian communities, Minnesota is just passing out money. Where is this money coming from? Because if you guys are passing out money like that, why don't you guys go down to the Black American community and set aside something to build them up? Get some programs going on down there. You want to know why? Because they don't actually care about the Black American community.
I found this scrolling on social media. Let me know what y'all think about this.
For me, the Democratic Party emasculates black men.
Wow.
And I think Hispanic men probably feel the same way. And I say this because they weaponize identity. When and where we enter, who we are, how we identify is important to who we are, just like our fingerprints. But if you're not going to use my identity to advance a social justice cause, and you're just going to use my identity as a blunt force object, now I got a problem. So what the Democratic Party does, they put black women on a pedestal and they say, we're the mothers of the movement, or we saved the party. But yet you don't put forth policies that save black babies. You don't put forth policies that deal with the maternal death rate of black women and black babies in the United States of America. You don't do those things that lift and edify. Yes, identity is important. Both parties use it differently. Republicans use it to say that everybody black or brown or of a mixed race is somehow kind of way a DEI hire. They use it to say certain books will be banned. Don't tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth about how this country was formulated, because you might hurt a white child's feelings by saying that, yeah, chattel slavery existed, and oh, by the way, white powerful folks stole the land from the indigenous people. So all of those things, Chinese Exclusion Act, I mean, we can go down the list. But Democrats use it
in a way that alienates other folks, and it offends me. So when I talk to black men across this country, they don't see themselves in this party. It's one thing to recognize the power and prowess of black women and the sacrifices that we make. It is another thing to put us above black men. The black struggle, black men and black women have to be together. We don't have the luxury to be separated, and so I resent the Democratic Party for doing that. And so black men do.
Me, I've been married for 7 years to my high school sweetheart. So I feel exactly what she's saying. When you see a bunch of black men running around, I voted for the black woman, wearing it like a badge. When you see the black women in the comments, black men are the worst. And it's usually coming from the Democratic side. And you're saying to yourself, why are you starting a gender war in the black community? Why? Ask yourself that after you listen to what Cuzzo was just saying. We cannot afford a gender war in our community. We need the black man and the black woman to be together.
Nothing brings out the inner Klansman of a white liberal faster than a black person who refuses to obey. Every time I log into social media, I'm seeing a new video from white liberals, especially white liberal women, questioning the purity and validity of black people, calling them traitors and sellouts and even the N-word, because they are no longer subscribing to the orthodoxy of the political left. And I think that's interesting to see that they have become so confident and so overt in their anti-black racism, which has always presented itself as a perceived ownership over black people. Now, there are a lot of us who have been saying this for the longest amount of time, even while voting Democrat, that the way that white liberals engage with black people is usually through a lens of dictatorship, telling you what you're supposed to believe, what your politics are supposed to be, how dangerous your men and your families are. And at the end of the day, when you look at most of these social justice movements, because I don't know why they're called social justice now and it's no longer civil rights, right? But if you look behind most of these movements, they tend to be funded and supported by white liberals. The same white liberals who tell black women that black men are the problem. The same white liberal women who tell black women that abortion is the #1 civil rights freedom issue of the day. When at the same time, they go home to their husbands and their children, often living the same circumstances that they're telling you that you should not have access to. Black people are now hip to the scam of the political left. And no matter how unhinged you become or how much racist rhetoric you espouse, it's too late. You're not going to be able to shame black people into compliance. You're not going to be able to disrespect them to the point where they're so hurt by your lack of approval that they're going to start advocating for their own replacement. And, you know, there's nothing more disrespectful to black people than the soft bigotry, but I would call the hard bigotry of your low expectations. And it's those same low expectations that have kept our community stagnant in this country for decades.
Facts. See, that's what a lot of people miss the boat. What you think is racism is some white guy running at you with his mouth foaming, yelling the N-word at you. No. That guy's not a problem because I can handle him. At least I'd rather take overt racism because at least I know how to deal with you. The racism that you don't want is the quiet racism, where people's trying to act like they're your friend while secretly stabbing you in the back. The one coming at you foaming at the mouth, letting you know how he feels, I could deal with that. The one trying to be sneaky, the one trying to be conniving with their racism, that's when it gets a little shaky. And I think that's where a lot of black Americans are drowning. They keep looking at the Republican Party with their overt racism and saying, look, can't you see it? Can't you see it? Not realizing the Democrats have just the same amount of racism. They're just hiding it behind your back.
Family, breaking news for the certified foundation of black American world. When you're dealing with a Democrat, you just dealing with somebody who ain't never got the word. The Civil War is over. Fam, they still living in the Civil War time. They ain't even pick up nothing. They just stayed there. They ain't fight, ain't swang, ain't do nothing. Just waited for the next butter biscuit, fam. We're the descendants of certifieds. They're the descendants of I'm never leaving the plantation. So this is why they're always talking about who gonna get deported, who going back in chains, who's gonna be a slave again. It's them because they never stopped being a slave. That's it. They just traded in Massa's name for the Democratic Party name. And ain't nothing changed but the numbers on the range, y'all. Look at this. Fam, when I tell everybody we in here, we doing our damn thing, and I tell everybody that certified foundational black Americans rule the damn world. Roland thought he was slick, didn't he? Roland thought he was slick, but yo, let me tell you something. I broke this a long time ago. Roland Martin done went broke. Yes, the hell he did. Roland Martin done went broke, fam. And Roland Martin done declared bankruptcy several damn times. Yes, he did. Y'all look at that right there. You look at your screen. Look at your screen, family. We ain't taking no damn political advice for somebody who ain't got his own finances in order. Nah. Y'all see why Roland's upset? Roland's upset because Roland ain't got no money. Roland's upset because he relies on that Democratic bag. If he ain't got that Democratic bag, Roland ain't gonna eat tonight. And y'all know he got to eat at least 17 times. Okay? So that's what's popping off in Roland Martin's world. Oh yeah, you want more? Black Alpha got more. Oh, this old to me. I been did this. Receipts all damn day long, family. Look at that. Roland Martin has filed bankruptcy. Chapter 13 lawsuit. This case was filed in U.S. bankruptcy courts in Louisiana. Western bankruptcy. The case status is pending. Roland ain't got no money. So Roland needs that Democratic bag. And foundational black Americans is messing it all up. And we're going to stay that way. You seen the energy with them? You seen the defeated faces? They done sent out every single shield imaginable, y'all. They pulling shields off the street at this moment. They like, hey, you a shield for the Democrats? Here's a bum, okay? They say, take that, boom, and there they go. They giving bums crumbs, y'all. And they pulling out the old ones, the young ones, and everything because they can't touch this FBA movement, this FBA energy, fam. We have captured the soul of the black community. Everybody's grassroots. Nobody's on the outdated old stuff. You're witnessing the end of Vote Blue. You're witnessing the end of the Democratic dinosaurs. You're witnessing the end of the Democratic plantation. And it's only getting better for us, and it's only getting worse for them. That's why we smiling. That's why they upset.
If you used to support Roland Martin, or if you do now, don't feel ashamed. I used to support Roland Martin, but I can no longer in good conscience do that, knowing that he's taking money from the Democratic Party. That's called a conflict of interest. I'm sitting in front of this camera right now. Ain't nobody paying me to sit in front of this camera. My only allegiance is to the black American community. If I was taking money from somebody, I would then be compromised. And if Roland Martin is getting money from the Democratic Party, then he's compromised. It's going to suit him to push a certain agenda, regardless if it hurts our community or not. That's why I can no longer in good faith support him. The Al Sharptons. When you find out Al Sharpton is getting a bag from the Democratic Party, what do you think he's going to do? He's going to tell us to vote for them no matter how detrimental it is for us. While these guys live behind gated communities, our communities is struggling. These guys don't actually care about the black American community. They are vote gatherers. So as long as they can deliver that black vote, the Democratic Party is looking to write them a check. And as long as you're doing that, I don't know whose side you're on. So I can't trust it. Guys, that's the end of this video. Y'all let me know what you think in the comments, whether you agree, whether you disagree. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out.